He was filled with fear as he felt his life being sucked out of him. A few hours earlier, Maria was directed by her mother to gather strawberries to make jam after school. During the school day, George pestered Maria with annoying acts. He called her names, tripped her, stole her lunch, and pushed her off the swings. "Hey, rat face, get out of my swing!" George exclaimed. "Ugh, I've had enough!" Maria yelled back. Maria became extremely upset, but smiled at the thought of getting her jam. When science class came, she decided to steal some syringes and jars. Maria was filled with excitement and glee when she put the stolen objects in her backpack. Some might even call it a psychotic kind of excitement. After school, she followed George and waited until she found herself alone in the park with him. At that moment, Maria gently scooped up a rock and chucked it at George's head as hard as she could. The rock collided harshly with his head, causing George to pass out. Maria dragged George behind a cluster of large trees and proceeded to extract her strawberry jam. She began to giggle as she unpacked her stolen syringes and put on a pair of rubber gloves with a satisfying smack. "This is the punishment bad boys deserve," Maria whispered. The only sound that could be heard was the loud thump of George's heart. Thump, 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 thump. Maria pierced George's skin and quickly, but carefully, sucked out his blood with sharp syringes. She repeated the process of filling her syringes with blood and emptying them out into jars until she had 5 full jars. Then Maria realized that the texture of the blood didn't resemble the texture of jam, so she decided to pluck some strawberries off of a bush on her way home and squish them into 5 jars. Once she had her jam, she went back for George and threw him into the nearest trash can. Maria quickly got rid of any evidence on the ground and skipped back home joyfully with her 5 jars of jam.
She arrived home and changed her clothes to hide any evidence. After doing so, she hastily threw them into the laundry basket and proudly marched into the kitchen to enjoy her reward. Maria grabbed 2 jars of jam and plopped them in front of the TV in celebration of her hard work. Meanwhile, her mother had found the remaining jars of jam and examined their strange texture. She questioned what it was after dipping her fingers into the jam. Maria's mother got a phone call from Maria's school explaining the mishap between George and Maria. The school also requested a meeting between the principal and Maria concerning the stolen syringes and jars. After hearing this terrible news, Maria's mother decided to wash the load of laundry. When she was going to wash Maria's clothes, she discovered the blood and mud-covered dress Maria was wearing earlier that day. A look of disgust and horror was painted on her face. To release any feeling she had towards this, Maria's mother sat down and decided to watch the latest news. What she heard completely terrified her. The news had stated that George Johnson was found dead at Grizzly Park after school that day, with syringe marks on his arms. At this point, Maria's mother knew her daughter had murdered George. She confronted Maria with this terrible fact. "Did you have anything to do with George's murder?" her mother questioned. "He got what he deserved, Mother. Is it wrong to want justice?" Maria reasoned. As Maria told her the truth, her mother ran into her bedroom in tears, wondering what could have caused such violence to occur in Maria. Later that day, Maria realized that her mother would sooner or later reveal the truth and she would be sent to jail. With this thought, Maria quietly whispered to herself, "Too bad Mom didn't like the jam. Looks like I've got a lot more to make."